Hello, I'm Atujuma and you're watching Hornbill TV's Prime at 9. Now headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with chief ministers of all states today amid COVID surge. The Prime Minister had stressed the need to ensure adequate health infrastructure at the district level. SIT gave a gist of the process of the investigation and updated on the current situation. The team, which comprises of 21 members, is yet to receive forensic report of voting killings. SIT stated that they may have to reconstruct scene with army after the report. As many as 12 bogies of the Bikaner-Guwahati Express have derailed in West Bengal's Jalpaiguri district. 5 people have lost their lives in the accident. Rescue operations are underway. After a meeting with his Meghalaya counterpart, Konrad Sangma, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma said that they have reached an understanding on resolving 6 of the 12 areas of dispute along the border between the states and will sign a memorandum of understanding later this month. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday interacted with chief ministers of all states on the COVID-19 situation. Prime Minister Modi said Omicron is rapidly spreading and is more transmissible. Prime Minister also asked states to stay alerted and ensure to avoid panic. Centre allocated Rs 23,000 crores package to states, which has been utilized well, with many states strengthening their health infrastructure. PM Modi said the meeting was being held in the wake of steep rise in COVID-19 cases in the wake of emergence of Omicron variant. The Prime Minister had chaired a meeting to review the COVID-19 situation in the country on January 9 through a video conference. The Prime Minister had stressed the need to ensure adequate health infrastructure at the district level.
हर राज्य के साथ मुझे खुशी है कि कई राज्य सरकार इस दिशा में बहुत अच्छी तरह नए इनोवेटिव प्रयास भी कर रही है, प्रयोग भी कर रही है। केंद्र सरकार ने टेलीमेडिसिन के लिए भी काफी सुविधाएं विकसित की है। इसका ज्यादा से ज्यादा उपयोग कोरोना संक्रमित मरीजों को बहुत मदद करेगा। जहां तक जरूरी दवाओं और जरूरी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की बात है, तो केंद्र सरकार हर बार की तरह हर राज्य के साथ खड़ी है। 5-6 महीने पहले 23,000 करोड़ रुपए का जो विशेष पैकेज दिया गया था, उसका सदुपयोग करते हुए अनेक राज्यों ने हेल्थ इंफ्रा को सशक्त किया है। इसके तहत देश भर मेडिकल कॉलेज और जिला अस्पतालों बच्चों के लिए 800 से अधिक विशेष पीडियाट्रिक केयर यूनिट स्वीकृत हुए हैं।
Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has said that his government has arrived at mutual understanding with Meghalaya over the 6 areas of the boundary dispute between the 2 neighboring states that were taken up in the first phase of a border row settlement. The 2 sides have reached a mutual understanding between the 2 governments, Assam and Meghalaya, today, Himanta Biswa Sarma said, but it has to be ratified at the larger level and people are involved in this matter. State interest is involved, he said. The government alone cannot decide, Sarma said. Meghalaya's Deputy Chief Minister, Preston Tiangson, said more or less they are almost about to reach agreement in the areas that they have already inspected. Now again, both CMs have directed to bring out detailed reports, and thereafter one more meeting will be held between 2 chief ministers. The Deputy Chief Minister said they will be meeting even the Union Home Minister, hopefully before January 21st, he said. Maybe the final agreement will be made public to both the states of Assam and Meghalaya after they come back, he added. Meghalaya's Deputy Chief Minister, Preston Tiangson, said more or less they are almost about to reach agreement in areas that they have already inspected. Now again, both chief ministers have directed to bring out detailed reports, and thereafter one more meeting will be held between two CMs. The deputy chief minister said they will be meeting even the Union Home Minister hopefully before January 21st, he said. To get more details on this and also to discuss on this matter, we have our colleague L, joining us from the newsroom. Thank you so much, L, for joining us again.
Hello, Atu.
So moving forward with this discussion, I would want to know what is the Chief Minister's contention of mutual understanding mean if they themselves said the final agreement has not been arrived at?
Yes, we have read the news reports and it is somewhat confusing because on one hand it sounds as if they have already resolved the issue, the border issue with Meghalaya. On one hand, they are saying we have not yet resolved it. We just came to a mutual understanding. So right now we don't have any clear details about the development that's taking place, which is reflected in their statement that they're saying there is no solution yet, but we just came to a mutual understanding. So from this, I gather that what they mean is they have actually come to an agreement on a set of engagement rules toward a particular solution to the border dispute they have. In this case, it's like a framework agreement, the framework agreement that was signed between the government of India and the NSNIM in 2015. So it's not the settlement of an issue per se. It's more like a set of guidelines and principles based on which they decide to deliberately work toward a particular goal, towards a particular solution. So I believe that the Assam Chief Minister is referring to something like that, although he didn't say it was like a framework agreement. So I think it's more like a set of engagement rules that the Assam government and the Meghalaya government have agreed on deliberately to pursue a logical conclusion to the disputes that they are having.
Also, what are the possible ramifications in regard to the settlement for other border issues in the Northeast?
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see what the impact of a possible border issue resolution between Meghalaya and Assam would be on other states, because there are a lot of border issues that Assam has. Nagaland has one with Assam, Mizoram has one with Assam. This has been going on for years, and if there should be any kind of solution between Assam and Meghalaya, I am very sure that there would be a search for the dialogue process. When you engage in a conversation with another party over any kind of matter, especially disputes, there are a set of rules, engagement rules, based on which you decide how the conversation takes place. There are certain methods and processes. It's called conflict resolution. So I'm very sure that should there be any kind of solution between Assam and Meghalaya, I'm sure Assam would, Nagaland would come in, and Mizoram would also come in and say, hey, we'd like to know how you guys did it, because we have had this issue for a long time now and we're tired of it, so we want to know your technique. We want to know how you guys arrived at a solution after all these many years. So the ramifications would be that, I believe that it would inspire a greater sense of urgency. It would inspire a more deliberate move and efforts towards resolving the issues, border issues that Nagaland, for instance, and Mizoram, for instance, they have with Assam.
Right. Also, we can see that the chief ministers of the two states have said that the engagements involve the people. Does this mean that talks include a public-led policy that will reflect in the government's decision?
We are not really clear about the consultative process that the Meghalaya and the Assam governments have had with their communities of each of their respective states. In Nagaland, when something that it directly impacts the public happens. Normally the state government would call the tribal HOHOs, the GB, students organizations, and you sit together and you discuss it. I don't know the consultative process that is going on in Assam and Meghalaya, but one thing is very sure: the border issues, they are in direct relations with the people and their livelihood. The people who live there on the borders and the dispute areas and their livelihood, it is directly connected. So I believe that whatever decision the government of Assam and Meghalaya take, I think it will definitely, most definitely reflect the sentiments and aspirations of the people there, because whether there is a solution or not, if the sentiments of the people are not taken into account, if there is even a solution, there will be trouble, there will be protests and agitations, there will be voices that will come up against the governments. So I do believe that whatever the decision the government of the two states take, it will reflect the sentiments of their peoples. Atu.
Redel, that will be all we have. That'll be all for today's newsroom discussion. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Atu.
Moving on to the next news. The much-awaited statements from the Special Investigation Team, or SIT, who are probing the December 4 and 5 civilian killings at Oting was held today in Kohima. It is important to note that on 4th of December 2021, 13 civilians were killed in an ambush by 21 para-commando of the Indian Army, who later clarified that it was a case of mistaken identity, which led to a huge public uproar. Let's have a look at the live press conference footage.
G5, one DIG rank officer, almost 4 SP rank officers, 2 deputy commandants, and so on and so forth, including 4 officers from Konya community. In order to conduct the investigation in a professional manner, which will cover all aspects of the offence and which will also go into all details of how the operation was conducted by the army, the circumstances of conducting the operations, etc. The SIT was further divided into 8 teams, out of which 4 teams were given the task of examination of witnesses, the injured victims at various places, be it at Mon, Dimapur, Dibrugarh, the other witnesses in the forms of doctors, the villagers, etc. One team was tasked with the responsibility of cyber and technical analysis of available technical and electronic evidences. One team at police headquarters under the supervision of DIG, CID was tasked with compilation of the documents. As you can understand, there will be a lot of documentation, and since it's a legal procedure, documentation is essential. One team was asked to purely study the scene of crime, reconstruct the crime that had occurred, collect the material exhibits and evidences from the scene of crime, compile it and send it for forensic analysis. And one team was tasked with the task of coordinating with various forensic science laboratories, be it Central Forensic Science Laboratory or be it NELIT in Kohima. So this way we started our investigation and the procedure. In last 1 month, more than 1 month, the SIT has visited the scene of crime on multiple occasions. In fact, one team under one SP rank officer was tasked to stay.
At the press conference, which HornbillTV presented an exclusive live coverage, the SIT gave a gist of the process of the investigation and updated on the current situation. It was, however, informed that the team, which comprises of 21 members, is yet to receive forensic report of the same, and therefore The final say is still awaited. The SIT acknowledged the urgency of the report and said that they are following protocols laid down by the government and are being as professional as possible. At least 5 passengers have died and several others are feared trapped after 12 coaches of Guwahati-Bikaner Express train 15633 derailed near Domohani at around 5 p.m. in West Bengal's Jalpaiguri district on Thursday. The accident took place near New Domohani railway station. Reports suggested that gas gutters are being used in rescue operations. Sources say the train derailed due to a crack in the railway track. However, there have been no official statements regarding this. Railway officials have rushed to the spot while disaster management and rescue teams have already reached the spot. Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee, who was in a meeting with PM Modi on the COVID situation in the country, left the meeting after the news and has issued instructions to the district administration for relief and rescue work. Railways has issued several helpline numbers for any information regarding the Guwahati-Bikaner Express train that derailed near the New Domohani railway station in West Bengal. Here are the helpline numbers issued by the Railway Department: 0361 2731 622, 0361 2731 623. Changpet Kongsen Sumungdang Community Hall was inaugurated by Advisor Treasuries and Account and National Highway Dr. Longrinikan at Arkong Ward, Mokokchung on Thursday. The advisories in his speech informed that the 11-kilometer Mangkolamba Longnak road is expected to get a positive signal soon. On October 31st last year, the civil society organizations of Mangkolamba locked the office of PWD executive engineer in protest against the state government's inaction to repair the said road. Longrinikan further informed he will be visiting Delhi at the end of January or the first week of February to meet the Central Ministry Secretary in connection with construction of road under Changpet Kong Range.
Ibaki aswaya masa ibaki masa sagaya Changpet Kunwar Sushi Tamuatsu Amuba Kikasitsa Jakakasitsa Asnagi Sarasamba Zarandam the Takabayutidas Ayonska Ibaki Jama Yagi Sinda Bajama Asinto Sangar Anutali Longjumba the Mientamba Agamza Tana Asintongum Tali Tashi Dai Ba Tali Tamem Daba Outsway Mountain Kini Dayamsbaga Outside. Ashama Matamerton Doi Chief Secretary Gangala Zong activities no Gangala Shisal the Demlonga Gaza in a one Bukas Aserbaya Kalamini Yapsva Mountain Maika in the champion lesson. Sagat Tiamaha Alima Magi Ba Pilau Saga Snubia Ba Mliabasa Parchirum Barking Zerndi Asen Nugi Misugi Asnugia Barkata Pilar Asbaya Da Tima that the Merge and then Asno Jaga Balano the Tukung the himself Doctor Card Mok Chunwa Doyer Card Maboro Card Koima asir mata ba chaka bala no down bala no alir.
After witnessing a drop in COVID-19 cases for the past few months, Dimapur district on Wednesday saw a massive surge in new cases, with the commercial hub recording 187 fresh cases out of 199 in the state. In an exclusive interview with HornbillTV, the Deputy Commissioner of Dimapur, Rajesh Sundararajan, who is also the chairman of the District Task Force for COVID-19, has informed that the surge is mostly due to returnees as well as random self-testing. Let's have a look at the interview with our reporter Esther.
Rajesh Sundararajan, who is also the Deputy Commissioner of Dimapur, as well as the Chairman of the District Task Force for COVID-19. Thank you for being with us, sir. Sir, first of all, we have seen a huge surge in COVID cases the past few days in Dimapur. Out of the total cases, Dimapur has the highest number of COVID-19 cases. And why do you think the sudden surge of COVID cases is happening in Dimapur?
Yeah, in the last couple of days, we have been seeing increase in the number of COVID cases, and positivity rate is also fluctuating, and it's on the higher side in the last couple of days. One of the main reasons for this is that the returnees who have come back to the state from various other places, so there are a lot of positive cases among the returnees who have come back. So this has increased the number of cases. Apart from the returnees also, there is a slight increase in the number of cases through other testing whatever we have done. So this can be attributed to, of course, the increase in the number of cases everywhere in the other states as well. And so this is not a phenomenon which we are seeing only here, but of course it's a countrywide phenomenon. And because of the increase in the number of cases in the other places as well, and then movement of people keeps taking place between states and then between districts also. So this is one of the reasons why we are witnessing an increase in the number of COVID cases. And especially in Dimapur, because as you know, Dimapur is the main point of entry into the state. So whoever comes by air, by road, by train. So since Dimapur is the point of entry, and since we are getting all the people tested here, whoever is coming especially without the report, so that's why it's one of the reasons why the Dimapur number of cases, as usual, it's the highest in the state. And as I said, this is the trend we are seeing now. We are closely monitoring the trend, and then see how the trend behaves. And basing on that, we will be coming up with whatever has to be done. So, as I said, the DTF and all the government agencies, we are ready for any eventualities. So, my request to the public is not to panic, but at the same time be responsible. So, as we have been reiterating time and again from the state government level and also from the district level, the response to COVID is not only the responsibility of the government agencies, but it is a collective responsibility of all of us. So, taking this opportunity, I would request the public, to all the concerned citizens, to adhere to all the COVID-19, whatever the safety precautions and the COVID-19 appropriate behavior which has been laid down from time to time. Wear a mask, don't venture out without wearing a mask, and also maintain social distancing wherever you go. Avoid unnecessary gatherings, avoid unnecessary meetings, and also wherever you are, and so your personal safety is your own responsibility in the first place. So let us all together in a collective way, let us adhere to all the COVID-19 appropriate behavior, so that we can all, definitely I'm very sure that collectively we can make our district a safe place, and also especially as far as the COVID is concerned, we can all have a responsible behavior and help the government agencies in putting down all the actions in place. Thank you.
That's all we have for now. Keep watching HornbillTV.